All right, hi there. I'm Ethan. This is At Bat Breakdown, and today I'm joined by Cal Poly Friday starter and MLB draft prospect Taylor Dollard to talk pitch sequencing and pitch strategy. Taylor, how are you?
I'm good, Ethan. How are you?
I'm good, man. All right, thanks for coming on, and really excited to talk to you about kind of the inner workings of what's going through your mind when you're on the mound.
Of course, man. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to go through it. I think it's a really cool thing you're doing here.
Yeah, let's talk some shop. So, um, first of all, will you just give me a little summary of the pitches you throw and just kind of like the frequency that you throw those pitches?
Yeah, so I'm mostly I got a four-pitch mix going. I have a four-seam fastball, slider, changeup, and a curveball. Um, the two pitches that I predominantly throw are my fastball and my slider. My changeup I throw a good amount, and it's starting because it's a later developed pitch for me. I'm starting to get more comfortable with it to throw it more times in a game. So that pitch is coming along, and then my curveball I just kind of picked up as well. So I don't throw those two pitches as much, but I typically go off of my fastball slider.
Okay, awesome. Um, yeah, that's pretty much good. So, what we'll be breaking down here is your first start of the year, which was earlier this season in the MLB4 tournament against UConn. So let's get into it here. So before we start, will you just tell me a little bit about are you the one that's calling pitches? And if the pitch is being called from the dugout, do you have the freedom to like shake to what you want? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so typically for me, I guess for all of us, the pitch calling comes from a combination of Coach Lee and Coach Silverman. So those two kind of work together and kind of put together what pitches to throw. For guys like myself that have built like trust with the coaches and like demonstrated that I can call my own pitches at times, I have the ability to shake. Some guys are still working towards it because it is a lot of trust to put in a guy to be able to shake off in certain counts and stuff. But for myself, I am allowed to shake. But typically in a game, I'm usually on the same page that the coaches are. So typically whatever they put down, I'm usually like, oh yeah, this is what I want to throw here. This is a good pitch. This is going to set up something else. So typically it comes from the coaches, and I mean, I typically go with what they call.
Gotcha. Sweet. Super interesting. All right, so let's get into this. All right, so this is going to be your first pitch of the year. So we've gone over a little bit of what you are, what are your strengths and what you throw. We probably won't get too much into these UConn scouting reports just because we don't want to, give away our secret sauce as a the Cal Poly analytics team and what we are looking for in these guys. But to what extent does the hitter's strength factor into what you're going to throw, and to what extent are you just kind of throwing to your strengths?
Typically, like I'm throwing to my strengths. Obviously, if a guy hits a certain pitch really, really well, it might alter my game plan versus that hitter. But typically, I mean, especially when it comes to hitting, how hard hitting is, I usually pitch to my strengths. So even if a guy can hit a slider away or something like that, I'll typically still throw him one. I'll just know I have to know in the back of my head, like, oh, I have to miss like this much more, or I have to be this much more down with it, just because he can hit it. But I mean, with myself and typically the way the coaches have called games for me, it's always to my strengths because hitting is so hard to do. You want to have, or I should say, I want to have my best stuff going up against their best stuff. So at the end of the day, like it's kind of who can outdo the other one in a sense.
All right, here we go. So this is your first pitch of the year. What are you thinking here? Are you nervous?
No, not really nervous. But I mean, it is the first start of my career, first pitch of the year. You do have a little bit of butterflies going, and you just kind of gotta control them and be able to work with them.
Got you. Maybe some butterflies catching the ball right there.
Butterflies on the throwback.
Got you. Yeah. All right. So nice outside fastball. Is that what you were trying to do there?
Yeah, so typically with like the Yukon hitters, we kind of wanted to stay away. So that pitch was executed like fastball away for us. So then from there, it kind of sets up for whatever I kind of want to do for this next pitch, because now he's seen the fastball for a strike, and so now he's behind in the count. So he's got to play my game now because I'm in control of the at bat.
Okay, so what is your game here? What are you going with next?
Because the scouting report typically dictates the way we pitch guys and teams. Since we did have like fastballs away written down as pitches, like, oh, we could execute these and get strikes with them against these Yukon hitters. That's typically probably what I'm throwing next year, and probably what I'm going to run with throughout the whole game and in the entirety.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, just got a little out of control.
Sure, yeah. So it looked like Miles, the catcher, set up away, and you went fastball. So you
Yeah.
went basically do the exact same thing you did on the first pitch, but just missed out. Is that right?
Yeah, so my execution just was bad there. Probably got a little bit too jittery still, just with it being the beginning of the game. So I was probably like trying to do a little too much there. But yeah, I mean, the game plan was still the same there, just failed execution.
Okay, sweet. So 1-1, we have another low and outside setup. Is this going to be another fastball?
Yeah, this should be another one.
Okay, let's see it. 1-1.
Yep.
All right, what happened there?
No, it was a good pitch. I mean, 1-1 count. You kind of want to challenge hitters, and I mean, they're like there, and like what I said earlier about us attacking with fastballs away. That was another pitch that just kind of it missed a little bit, but I could get away with it because it was a swinging count. So just because I missed a little bit, I have a little bit of velo on my fastball from the beginning of the game, as well as like I have a little deception created to it. So it's a tough pitch to hit no matter what.
Sure.
So going forwards, do I want to miss there every time? No.
Yeah.
But in that count, it worked out for me.
Yeah, awesome. It'd be really nice if this broadcast had miles per hour up there. Kind of surprised it didn't, but
Yeah, I actually am too.
yeah. So all right, so 1-2. We've gone 3 fastballs now. Is this the time to go off speed?
It could be, but realistically, because it's the first batter of the game, uh, typically I don't want to show my stuff too early in the outing. So if I can save my breaking ball, if I can save my changeup for later at bats in the game, it's going to make it that much harder of a pitch to hit. So
Okay.
here, like in a 1-2 count, especially on a swing like he just had on the fastball, I'm probably going to stay fastball again here and try to make him beat me. In a sense that I'm going to locate the pitch, and if he hits it, like it's going to be a good job by him. It's not going to be a miss by me.
Got you. And that location that you talked about, is that going to be low again, or are you going to go up with it?
It should be down unless I miss my spot here.
Okay. Let's see here. 1-2.
Yeah, there it is.
All right. You love to see it.
Yeah, I got a little swagger after that one. First batter of the year, punch out looking.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine how good that feels.
Yeah, it's always a good feeling. Freezing guys on fastball is a good feeling.
Sweet. All right, so this is the first righty that you're facing. So you've been talking a lot about the outside fastball and how that's kind of a team-wide trend that you're trying to exploit. Is it different throwing an outside fastball to a lefty than an outside fastball to a righty?
Yes and no. Throwing fastballs away to righties for me, because I am a right-handed pitcher, it's a little bit of a different visual than throwing an outside fastball to a lefty, just because you have the batter standing in one side versus the other side. So it creates a little bit of an open window. So for facing left-handed hitters, for me, keeping the fastball down and away, I just have to work a little bit harder for, because there is like so much open space in the right-handed batter's box to miss. So typically, I mean, for me, working fastballs away isn't really an issue, but there is a little bit of a visual factor that comes into play when you're trying to locate a pitch.
Okay, sweet. So we have 0-0, 1 out already. Are we going to go low fastball again, you think?
My guess here is because of his stance and because of the way he's on the plate, My guess is that the only way he's going to be able to get to an outside pitch is if it misses middle. So typically here I'd probably go first pitch slider just because of the way his stance is and the way he's going to pull off of the ball with his swing.
Interesting. Okay, so when I look at this stance, I'm seeing that he's looks really closed.
Yep.
I would think that a guy with a closed stance would have an easier time going outside, but like it seems like that's not what you're saying. So why is that you think that he's more likely to pull off?
Yeah, so because if you see how his stance is closed, when he strides forwards, he's going to bring that front foot back to being in line with him. So when he brings that foot back into line with him, it's going to shorten his bat length to the outer half of the plate. So by coming back, it's almost like Giancarlo Stanton. If you ever watch Giancarlo Stanton hit, he has the closed stance like this, and when he comes back, he has a hard time hitting like low and away pitches because he's realigning himself away from the plate. So his back foot is realistically where he is on the plate. So this is a guy like you don't necessarily want to come into just because he's going to be full power onto that type of pitch.
Okay, sweet. Let's see what happens here on 0-0.
There's the slider.
There it is, our first Taylor Dollard slider of the video of the season.
Yep. So typically on the 0-0 slider, you can get away with kind of missing where I did on that pitch. Yeah. Ideally, I wanted it a little bit lower, but because it's the first breaking ball he's going to see, especially in the first pitch of an at-bat, he's more than likely not going to swing at it. So putting a pitch there in that count in the situation is not the worst thing in the world. But it does set up my guess is that this next pitch is probably going to be another slider as well, just because the first one wasn't ideal to where I wanted it to get away. So now this next pitch is probably going to be the same pitch, just a little bit further out and down maybe.
Okay. Out of the zone.
Yeah. Oh, we went fastball there. That's an interesting pitch call from Coach Lee there.
Yeah. So one thing I'm wondering about when you're talking about doubling up on a pitch, do you think that it's important as a pitcher to, if you throw, say, a bad slider, to then immediately go and try to throw a better slider so that you don't have that feel of like the idea that you're losing feel on that pitch?
For myself, I have the confidence in my pitches that I will, no matter what the count, no matter how many bad ones I've thrown in a row, I'll always have the feel for a pitch. So typically for myself, that's not kind of my thought process, but at the same time, if you do throw a bad breaking ball, it's not a bad idea to come back with a good one, because now the guy saw the bad one and he's like, oh, okay, so this is what his slider looks like, when in reality the good one is what it actually looks like. And so now he's going to see that and be like, oh no, I wasn't ready for that, and then get weak contact or a swing and miss on it. Got you.
Okay, so it's 1-1. So you went slider, kind of middle first pitch, and then kind of low and outside fastball.
Yeah, here we're probably going to go slider again because it's a swinging count in a 1-1. And plus, like I explained his swing earlier, my guess is that we're going to go back to a slider, try to get weak contact or a swing and miss on it.
Okay, what would you say are the other swinging counts?
1-1, 2-1, 1-0, 2-2, obviously because there's two strikes, but that's a big swing count. But yeah, I mean, the main ones are 1-1, 2-1, 1-0. Those are the pitches that I typically expect a swing to come on.
Okay, interesting, super interesting. All right, here we go. So 1-1.
And there's the better slider.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that pitch is a lot better than the first one, obviously. It's got a little bit more away from the plate, so it's a tougher pitch to hit.
Yeah.
Now it just sets up the 1-2 count. This is going to be a pitch that is unhittable, and my guess is that we're throwing a slider here. I remember the outcome of this at bat, so I won't spoil it.
But all right, let's see it here.
The plan is supposed to be unhittable, slider away.
Okay.
God, left it middle.
Yeah, hanging a little bit, huh?
Yeah, so it's just bad execution there. If I put the pitch down in a way where it was supposed to, just based on that bat and everything that was going on there, it probably would have ended up being a strikeout. But because I tried to do too much with the pitch and missed middle with it, It went right into his bat path, and he ended up doing a good job with it and hitting it for a single.
Got you. So when you miss, so that pitch you describe as, you know, a miss. What are you thinking about the next time you're throwing a slider? Are you thinking about, you know, how you're going to improve it, or, you know, I don't know, just take me through what's going through your head to fix that.
Yeah, so when I throw a bad one, it's more of a just like whatever type of feeling. Like I don't get me wrong, I'm not happy about it by any means, but you can't dwell on it because it's going to affect the next pitch. So like I give myself typically about 1 to 2 seconds to be mad at myself, like why did I not, or how can I not execute that pitch, and then I move on. That way, next time I get the slider, all I think to myself is like, all right, here we go. It's time to execute this pitch, and then throw it and get the result that I want from it.
Got you. Sweet. All right, so here we are. We have a runner on first and one out. We have the 3-hole hitter up. Also a righty. Is there anything you see in this guy's stance that would indicate that a certain location is going to be better than another for him?
He's a little bit – yeah, he's kind of straight up on the plate. He's not too far off. I don't remember what we had for his swing, so I don't exactly remember what pitch to throw here. But my guess is that because of the way the previous at-bat just went, and with a runner on first, probably an executed fastball away here, just to try to get ahead and steal a strike and get the first inning jitters out of the way still.
Gotcha. All right, let's see.
And there it is.
Yep.
Yeah, so the first pitch fastball is just a big pitch to get ahead on, I would say. Getting ahead of hitters, like going 0-1 on a guy versus 1-0 is a huge, huge pitch, because now it's like they're on the defense as opposed to like, oh, here comes another fastball. Because here in an 0-1 count, I could throw whatever I want, realistically.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was a 1-0 count, then I kind of have to get back into the count by throwing a fastball or throwing a breaking ball that's going to be a strike, or a changeup for a strike, because you don't ever want to fall behind a guy 2-0. So getting ahead 1-0 or 0-1, I mean, excuse me, is a big pitch in my opinion. And then probably to follow that first pitch fastball up, we're probably going to do it again. Although I wouldn't be surprised if we called a slider here, because throwing a slider here would probably get some weak contact to it and possibly roll up a double play ball to get out of the inning.
Yeah. So would you say that your double play pitch would be kind of a low slider?
Anything low for me in general, because I do have a little bit of arm side run and sink to my fastball.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough pitch, like if it's down in the zone, to hit square basically. But then the slider also, especially to a righty when it breaks away, if they cast out at all, it's going to be a rollover. And then the changeup too. Changeups for lefties, especially in my opinion, is a really good pitch for anybody to throw, because it looks like the fastball, and then all of a sudden it dies, and now you're out in front, and then you roll that pitch over as well.
Yeah. Okay, sweet. So let's check out what happens here on 0-1. You said you could do whatever you want, so let's see what we picked.
We went fastball, missed a little bit of a spot, but that's okay, because like I said, the way I throw the fastball and the deception I have on it, I can get away with it sometimes. Obviously don't want to live there all day, but beating a barrel in a 0-1 count is a good job. So I got weak contact. Now I got 2 outs, runner on first. It's kind of the exact scenario that I wanted out of that at bat right there.
Yeah, that's a great outcome. If you could take that every time, of course you would. So.
Oh yeah.
Sweet. All right, so we've skipped ahead here to the 4-hole hitter, 2 outs, runner on first. Kind of a brutal angle here. I think it'll switch, but seems like the trend has been first pitch fastball, 2 out of the 3 batters. Do you think? Well, it's hard to say because we can't see this guy, but
yeah, my guess is that I probably go first pitch fastball away again, just because, like I said, that was kind of the report we had, and it's a pitch I was executing early on in the game. So why not run with it and try to get ahead of this guy 0-1 as well?
Sweet. Let's see.
Yep. So we went fastball. Oh, that actually might have been a changeup. because he's a lefty, we probably wanted to get him out in front early. Just a tough angle to see the pitch of what happened there, but my guess is that it was probably a changeup down that he just took for a ball.
Okay, first pitch change. Yeah, I can only go back 15 seconds at a time, so I'm kind of refraining from going back and rewatching pitches. But so 1-0. You just the last at bat we were talking about how first pitch strike is so important. Now you're here 1-0. What's going through your head?
I just got to get back into the count. I mean, I know like I have the mentality when I'm pitching that I believe that my stuff is better than anybody else's. So here I'm probably going to go attack this guy and try to get weak contact again, or make him try to swing the bat here because this 1-0 count is a pitch you want to kind of challenge a guy with and be like, I'm going to execute my end of it, but if you want to try to hit it, go for it. Because it is a hitter's count. If you can steal an out in a 1-0 count or like a 2-1 count, that's a good job.
Sure. All right, let's see.
Yeah, 2-0. Now you're just getting away from the execution point a little bit. Probably still a little bit of first inning jitters there. 4-hole hitter lefty with runner on first base. Probably just let the game get away from me a little bit. So here's a 2-0 pitch now is where I'm probably going to settle back down, try to attack this guy. Like I said, have the same mentality of trying to get him out here, and challenging him in a 2-0 count.
All right.
Wow, 3-0. I go 3-0. Wow. I do not remember that. 3-0 count, I mean, you just got to get back in the count. You can't leave a middle absolute cookie for the hitter, but you also don't want to throw a ball. So, I mean, it's a pitch where it's like you just got to throw an executed pitch here, with a little bit of angle and a little bit of movement to it maybe, whatever a guy works with. But for myself, it would just be to execute the pitch, a little downhill angle, stay in line with the plate.
So is this in your career, how many times have you thrown a 3-0 pitch that wasn't a fastball, do you think?
I honestly don't know. A lot of the time it is a fastball just because I have the feel to be able to throw the fastball typically wherever I want, whenever I want. Obviously, whenever you get into a 3-0 count too, it's kind of like dang it, like I don't want to be in this type of situation.
Yeah.
But you can't give up, and you got to just make this guy try to beat you. You got to play the odds here for sure. And the fact that if he succeeds in this at bat 30% of the time, he's a Hall of Famer. So this is a pitch right here where you kind of just got to attack him and execute your pitch.
All right. Sweet.
Yeah, good angle to it, good location. Gonna steal that strike all day.
All right. Yeah, that's not a bad 3-0 pitch at all.
Yeah, 3-1 pitch here. You probably go the same. You probably just move it away now. So instead of having it middle, you're probably just gonna move the fastball away a little bit, and try to execute that pitch with angle, and get it out here.
Okay.
Ooh, I did not like that call.
Yeah, it kind to me it looked a bit outside, but I could see how you would want that pitch on 3-1.
Yeah, of course. But hey, it happens to the best of us. But here's the time. This is where the time that you kind of got to bear down because now you're at first and second, 2 outs, 5-hole hitters up. This is a matchup you want, and it's kind of like this is the point where, like, in my opinion, the boys get separated from the men. You kind of got to bear down, and you got to just roll with what you got and give everything you got. Get your team back in the dugout with a 0 on the scoreboard for the other team, and kind of get everything going offensively for the guys.
All right, sweet. That seems like a good mindset.
Yeah, so this first pitch here is probably going to be a fastball. Just because I went 5-pitch walk, we're probably just going to restart with a fastball here. Oh, actually, I take that back. We're going to go slider here. simply because of the fact that throwing your breaking ball speeds your hand up as a pitcher. So because I was missing arm side a lot there with fastballs and changeups, um, this first pitch will probably be a slider, try to speed my hand up, get my mechanics back into sync.
All right.
And there's the slider. Yeah, so it just speeds throwing the breaking ball there after walking a guy after some arm side misses. It just speeds your hand up, like I said, and gets you kind of back in the sync. So now that I'm ahead 0-1 here, especially against this guy, he's a little bit off the plate again, and he's got a little bit of an open stance. I didn't look at where he strided in the first picture or the first video. I mean, but there's another pitch. We're probably going to go slider here again. Get him to chase this pitch right here and get ahead 0-2.
All right. Let's see.
We went fastball. So we went fastball a little bit off the plate. You can see Miles set up a little bit off. It was probably a good pitch there just to get him off of the slider so that now in this 1-1 count, we can come back to the slider here because he just saw the hard away, and now he's going to see slider away on the same plane.
Interesting. Okay, so is this the first kind of example in this game of like a deliberate like tunneling effort?
It's not a deliberate thing from my side, but calling pitches, it for sure you do take that into account because if you throw the fastball in the same plane as the slider is going to break late, and therefore guys aren't going to be ready for it. And then it's like the same thing with the changeup too. Everything that comes out of your fastball is going to be successful, in my opinion, because it's like you throw in the same exact looking pitch until it's not. And once you get that type of feel and that kind of tunnel going towards a plate, it just makes pitch calling that much easier because now, like I said, the guy just saw what the slider away looks like, and he just saw a fastball away at the same plane, and now he's probably going to see another slider away here out of that same tunnel. It's really tough to be able to, as a hitter, get the job done.
Got you. All right. 1-1. Let's see.
There's a slider. Missed a little bit middle. But, I mean, it was still an okay pitch just because of the hitter there. You know, he's off the plate a little bit, got a little bit of an open stance. And he's probably sitting fastball there. So seeing the slider, even though it wasn't executed to where I would want it to go, it was close enough to get a weak contact foul ball. And now here with the 1-2 count, we're probably going to go we're probably going to throw the slider here and put it in the dirt to where I think it was the 2-hole hitter that I missed the pitch on. That same kind of idea of putting it in the dirt where it's unhittable with the slider here is probably the game plan.
Got you.
We went fastball. That's not a bad pitch either because now you're changing the eyesight of the hitter. So changing the eyesight of the hitter is a big thing here because now that last pitch, that fastball up, is now going to set up the slider away even better because now he was looking away, and now he just saw the pitch up. So now his eye level changes a little bit, and now he's got to come back into the box. And 1-2 here, I'm probably throwing a slider is my guess.
Okay, yeah, so I was going to ask, so it seems like a lot of the emphasis in college baseball, especially pitch calling, is like down, 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 right? Like they can't hurt you down.
Yep.
And you've talked about how in this game, the approach is, you know, low and outside fastballs. Your slider is obviously a pitch that is always going to play better if it's low and outside to a righty. And then also we saw a couple of changeup attempts that were aimed to be like low and outside to lefties. So do you think that approach kind of breaks down if you do it too often because the eye level isn't changing?
Yes and no. It depends. I think it depends on what team you're playing and what the reports say. Like I said earlier in the video, like the UConn report had everything away, everything down, type of thing that they would struggle with. Now, I remember there were a couple other teams we played later in the season where the fastball elevated was actually – we had it as an out pitch for some guys.
Mm.
So it just – in my opinion, it just depends on the hitters. But, like, for against UConn in this outing, executing the fastball down and away and the slider away, they struggled with it. So there was no need to get away from it. They never adjusted to my game plan, so I never needed to change anything that was going on with my pitch sequencing or pitch execution.
Gotcha. So it seems like it was a good matchup for you.
Yeah, it was for sure. It was for sure a good matchup. And like I said, they didn't make any adjustments to where I was throwing pitches, so I just kind of stuck to my game plan and kind of executed what was called.
Gotcha. Yeah, that might be one of the reasons you went, 7 scoreless in this game.
For sure.
All right, so we got 1-2. You're thinking slider here to play off of the high fastball that you just threw?
Yeah, it should be a slider here, and try to execute this. Get the swing and miss, and get through it. Get back in the dugout.
What happened there with the call in time?
I think it was just a hitter. We might have been taking too long to get a pitch in. First game of the year, we're going through the signs of the runner on second, because obviously you can't just throw down numbers because it can get picked. So our sequence was a little bit off probably. Took a little bit too long. Like I said, first game of the year, just got to get the kinks out. So it could have been a little bit of a tempo both ways.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we went fastball again, which honestly probably not a bad pitch there, just because he was probably sitting breaking ball. That's why he was so late on it.
Mm-hmm.
I missed my spot a little bit there. I don't know exactly where I was trying to go with it, but because he was sitting off speed there, the fastball played way harder, and therefore he was late on it. So now this pitch, if it is not a slider, I have no idea what we were doing.
Gotcha. It seems like you're frustrated after that pitch. Is that mostly because you missed the spot? Is there a part of that frustration that that like this guy's a tough out, or maybe that this inning is going a little bit longer than you want to with 20 pitch count already? Like what's kind of going through your mind there?
There's probably a bunch, but realistically, I mean, the biggest thing that I was probably upset at was probably just my mislocation, because it's like if I execute pitches against certain guys, the coaches know what these guys are going to swing and miss at or take for strikes. So, I mean, that was probably just the frustration of missing a spot there, especially in a 1-2 count. I'm a perfectionist, and I don't take anything less than that for an answer. So, I mean, that's probably where it was coming from. Obviously, nobody wants to be in a 20-pitch inning in their first inning of their first college start.
Yeah.
But it is something that you just got to work through. And this pitch here is probably going to be the slider, like I said, and we're going to get back in the dugout and settle back down.
All right, let's see it.
There it is.
All right, absolutely nasty. Yeah.
I was waiting for it. That's probably part of what the frustration was too. I was probably telling myself like I should have shook to that one pitch earlier.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, what's crazy is that in this game, you threw 7 innings, no earned runs, 2 hits, 2 walks, and one of those hits and one of those walks happened here in the first inning. So after this game, you were absolutely lights out, and we don't have time to talk about the rest of the game, but yeah, very, very interesting stuff. Do you think you settled down a little bit after the first?
Yeah, I for sure did. Obviously, as much as I want to deny it and not say anything, I mean, my first college start, especially in a situation that we were in Arizona in the MLB4 tournament, it's a kind of a big deal. And so for my first start to be there, I mean, it was probably a little bit of a adrenaline rush that I just needed to be mature about and handle. And obviously it took me a little bit longer than I planned for it to, but I got the job done. And I mean, once I got the first inning out of the way, I mean, it just was instincts took over, and I was just back to going to work like I'm used to.
Gotcha. Is there anything else that you remember from that game that you want to share?
Nothing in particular, really. I mean, that game was just kind of a really well executed approach for our team, in my opinion. I mean, we ended up scratching a couple runs across early, so I was pitching with the lead. I think we took the lead in the second, so I was pitching with a lead for over half my outing, which makes it just that much easier because now you're trying to attack hitters, and you can get away with, like, if you do make a mistake or something happens, now at least you have a little bit of a buffer with a lead. So that type of approach too is kind of huge. But like I said, I thought that game was just a really well executed game plan from both the pitching side and the hitting side. Like you said, we came away with the win. I want to say it was 5-0. So, I mean, as long as we win at the end of the day, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah. Well, sweet, man. That's kind of all I had here. So thank you very much for joining me and imparting some of your pitching wisdom, and just know that we're rooting for you in the draft in June.
Of course. Thanks, E. I really appreciate it, man. I'm glad I could help out with this.
Sure. All right, man. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.